Dish. We're up.
Hi guys, so today I'm joined by Duck again, and we are going to be talking all about sextortion and what's new and what you need to be concerned about. So Duck, to start with, can you just give me an overview of what it is?
Yes, we have talked about it on Naked Security Live before. It's a threat that has not gone away. We've seen some huge campaigns lately. Basically, the idea is you get an email that this is the latest one, so this is what you may have heard people talking about. I'll read it out to you. It's one called Final Warning. They all take a theme something like this. This one says, you have the last chance to save your social life. I am not kidding. I give you 72 hours to make a payment before I send the video to all your friends and associates. Do not try to cheat me. As soon as you open this email, I will know you opened it. So it's basically they're extorting you for money. They're saying, pay me money, or I'll release this video I've got of you involved in some kind of sexual activity. So it's sort of sex or sexuality combined with extortion. That gives us the name sextortion. The idea is if you pay the money, the video or the image goes away and it doesn't get sent to your friends.
So if they had a video of you, would they not try and show you kind of some evidence of this?
Yes, you'd think so. That's what many of our switched-on readers have pointed out. Obviously, if they really want to squeeze you hard and they really want to make money out of this, then just saying, hey, I've got this video, pay me and I'll delete it, is not really enough. So surely if they actually had a video, if they actually had a picture, they'd send you a still from the video, or they'd send you a link that would let you watch it. That would be very convincing. Instead, what they try and do is they say, well, they've installed malware on your computer, and that's how they've done this, and the way they got them, and basically the way they try and convince you that they know a bit more about you than just nothing, and in fact they don't know anything about you. They're all a pack of lies, so you don't have to worry, please relax. But what they do is they put in, say, a password that belongs to an old account of yours that they got from a data breach, or they include your phone number which they got from a data breach, or they guess at how many contacts you've got in your address book, say about 12, or they put something in there that makes you think, my goodness, where did they get that data from? It must have come from my computer, and in fact it's just something they could have got from the public domain easily enough. So you're right, surely if they really wanted to extort you, blackmail you over a picture, they'd show you the picture, and then you really would panic. Although, of course, if you pay, how do you know they're going to delete it? The answer is you don't. So even if you think they've actually have an image of you, I wouldn't pay, because you've got no guarantee that they're not going to release the image anyway, or that they've been slack about security and some other crooks have got hold of it.
Okay, so if we look at some of the truths and half-truths around this, is it possible for someone to spy on you via your webcam without you knowing?
Well, that's the problem that I think trips some people up, and they go, well, you know, I don't watch porn, this wouldn't have happened to me, but if they did have malware on their computer, what could they have done? And unfortunately, in recent years, there have been a series of criminal cases involving what's called a RAT, or a remote access Trojan. And a RAT, basically, it's malware that allows someone to control your computer remotely, and predominantly for the purpose of recording you via webcam or microphone without your permission. And they have Miss Teen USA a few years ago. It seems that she got hacked because she used the same password everywhere. Don't do that, folks. And that ended up in a criminal conviction with a computer science student getting an 18-month federal prison sentence. So yes, it is possible, but the crooks have to get malware on your computer in the first place without you noticing, and then they have to be able to turn on your webcam and actually record you doing something that you didn't expect.
And is it possible for someone to be recording you without your webcam light being on?
That is a difficult question that I don't know enough about the electronics of the various webcams in use in the world to answer that definitively. My understanding is there are two main sorts of webcam. One in which the light is basically connected, an intrinsic part of the camera, and when the power's onto the camera and the camera's active, the light comes on automatically, like a telltale light, like, you know, the switch on a water heater. When you turn it on, the switch lights up, and it's all automatic. And another sort of webcam where the light is just configurable separately from the camera. However, if you're going to rely entirely on that light, don't forget that all the mobile phones in the world these days have 2, 3, 4, 5 cameras, however many, and they don't have lights. So don't rely just on the light, because some of your devices don't even have a light. best defense is don't get infected by malware in the first place, consider an antivirus, and don't use the same password everywhere, because that makes it easier for the crooks to get in and do nasty stuff to your computer.
So one of our readers asked about email tracking, especially with images. So what's that all about, and is there any truth to it?
Yes, that's a thing that I think the crooks are relying on people getting scared by. In this particular email, there's a bit that I read out that says, as soon as you open this email, I will know you opened it. There you can see that's at the end. That's why you can't cheat me. I'll know if you've looked at this email, I'll know that you've received the message. Now, technically that is possible, and actually even legitimate marketing companies use what's called email trackers. Typically, if there's an image inside an email, then when you look at the email, obviously the image has to be fetched. And to fetch the image, the email client, your email client goes out, downloads the image from a web server and pops it and displays it on the screen. So the fetching the image, that actually produces a record in the logs on the server, and that image can be used effectively to track you. Now the image doesn't have to be visible, it could be a tiny 1 pixel by 1 pixel thing, it doesn't really matter. Now I think the reason people have got more scared than perhaps they need to be about this is that, firstly, that many people don't realize that most email clients these days don't display images by default. And you've probably seen this, like if you use webmail, outlook.com or Gmail or something, if you get an email with loads of images in, there'll be a message at the top saying, this message contains images, do you want to get them? And until you press that button, no tracking can take place. The second thing is that this is tracking just simply to say that you've read the email. It's not tracking in the sense of giving your email client or your web browser access to your GPS data, your current location history. So even if a crook could track that you'd read their spam email or their scam email, all they're doing is, all they might know is that you opened the email or somebody opened the email at some time. They're not going to be able to access where you are at that time or get any information about your GPS history. So yes, you're being tracked, but you're not being tracked in the sense of being followed around and stalked.
Okay, that's good to know. So a few readers also asked us if they can complain to their internet provider about this.
Yes, we had some saying, you know, why can't I report this to my ISP? Because this is spam, so it's unwanted email. It's also a scam because it's completely fraudulent and it's extortion. And it's also quite unsettling and, you know, offensive to keep receiving this stuff, accusing me of doing all of this stuff and watching porn and getting caught out. And, you know, these threatening emails, they're much worse than the usual spam just trying to sell me some garbage I don't want. Can I complain? The answer is yes, you may be able to. We can't answer for every possible ISP, obviously. All we can do is suggest that you consult maybe their help pages or their support pages to find out where to report abuse. Unfortunately, it can be very difficult for your ISP to do much about this. They might have a spam filter in place that stops some of this stuff, but if you imagine that a lot of this stuff comes from webmail accounts that were set up especially just to do one spam campaign, or they come from computers that have recently been hacked and used to send spam, it's quite difficult for an ISP to stay on top of a computer that's sending spam if it's only going to be spamming for 24 or 48 hours. So yes, you can report this stuff. If you're willing to do so, please do, because it gives us an official sense of how bad this problem is. But unfortunately, there isn't a magic bullet that can make your ISP stop these emails from stop you from receiving them en masse.
Okay, perfect. So what is your advice for people generally around this?
Well, if you get one of these sextortion emails, you know, as I said, we've even had people who get afraid, even though they A, never watch porn, and B, don't even have a webcam, but they go, well, if these guys have got malware on my computer, what might they have found out about me? If there's no truth in the video they've got, what else have they got? Have they looked at my files? Have they got my keystrokes, etc., etc.? Basically, the sextortion scam in the form that I just showed you at the beginning of this video, that's a pack of lies. So don't reply, don't engage with the crooks, just delete the email and move on. It may be offensive to receive these emails, but they're not going to do you any other harm. If you want to report them to your ISP, you can. And of course, in general, if you're worried about what a crook could do if they did get malware on your computer, and we've just done a survey where we actually suggest that the average computer that has an attack going on, that it takes 13 hours before the average attack gets noticed. So that's quite a lot of time for the crooks to do stuff. Your best defense is get a good antivirus on there. Sophos Home, for example, is completely free for you to use on Windows and on Macs. We also have Sophos Mobile Security for Android and iOS. That's a great first defense that keeps you away from websites where malware is known to be lurking, and actually will give you an early warning if malware tries to infect your computer, and hopefully will actually prevent it getting on there in the first place. Because if the malware doesn't get on, then there's no chance of it turning on your webcam, even if you do have one.
Perfect, that's great advice. Thanks, Duck. And as always, comment your questions below and we will get back to you when we get them. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Until next time, as you know, stay secure.